what roadblocks are out there if you want to start your own environment, your own business, your own small software enterprise. Which, by the way, no small enterprise in software ever desires to say small at all. The goal on it is obviously to take over the world. You know, it's obviously if you've got the right niche, it's what, you know, people call things viral when they see a YouTube video hit and all of a sudden 12 million people have viewed it. Literally, in the software world, that happens. The tipping points happen like that. It may take you 5 years to develop, to refine, to get the idea fine-tuned, to make sure that you have the niche that, and are offering the services that companies and people want. And then all of a sudden, you'll start to see it float out there. It'll take hold by itself. That's the magic of the internet and the magic of software. What are the roadblocks out there? One of the things I said earlier, too much competition. You have a great idea. If 3 or more people are doing the same thing, basically, it's not a good idea. You better have a better idea than what they did, or find another niche that you've got. That means your process or product's not unique enough. Poor business practices. Small companies, a lot of them go out of business in the first 12 to 14 to 16 months. Why? Bad business practices. Didn't plan properly. Product, process, plan, and people. That's why I take some financial classes. Because I can tell you whatever you think it's going to, however long you think it's going to take longer than that. So be prepared. And then the third roadblock is not staying focused on the core products. I can tell you right now that every day we come up with a new idea or some new thing that could be a whole business in and of itself. And if you get sidetracked doing that, you will never be able to launch your core product that you started with. And I'm serious, we literally have people coming to us who go, listen, could you take this and then just bend it like that, and then we'd have this whole thing over here, and you're going, yeah, we could, but I'm not going to spend the money on it because we're working on this piece right here. The key takeaway, and again, we're a software business, and I've chosen a startup enterprise to do that. Don't get discouraged if things take longer than expected. Remember the 90-90 rule. So here's the 90-90 rule of your projects. You probably see this in school too, but I thought it'd be truthful. Is that 90% of a project takes 90% of the time? The last 10% of the project takes the other 90% of the time. In other words, your planning process, whatever time you think something's going to take, basically double it, and you're probably right. So if you say, I got the greatest idea in the world, I got the process in the world, I got a financial plan, and you know, I got the right people, and you know what, this is going to work, and you go, well, it's not quite working as well as I thought it was. Don't get discouraged, because if it's the right idea, people will tell you immediately. If you can tell them what your process, what your idea is, what your product is, and what your business is, and they can come back and they go, that's a good idea, you're probably on the right track. But don't get discouraged. These roadblocks are pretty consistent in most businesses, and you can write them in different ways, but they're literally pretty consistent that way. All right. That's just a little bit about segments. I'll take some questions. Again, this was, you know, I didn't know exactly the crew was going to be with, so I'm pretty happy with the group that's here, because really, what I do is run with a partner and with a group of several people that we employ a mobile web software company. We're a solutions-based company. We go into companies and we say, this is what you're doing on your PC site. We can make it work on mobile, and we can make it work around the world. We deal with companies like Hertz, Home Depot, Goldsmith, major companies that are out there in the U.S. today. And it hasn't been easy. So if you want an easy way to go about making a ton of money, you know, go strictly into Wall Street and do your best shot there, because certainly any software business is not going to be an easy business, but there's something really cool about it. And that's that once you start going on a path with the right idea, you can accelerate faster than your competition because of what you've designed, developed, and how in your core competencies with it. So, and if you're interested in doing something in software, starting your own business, I'm telling you, mobile, which includes applications, and social media, marketing are the two places where we're seeing the huge growth happening. And it's not just the U.S., it's global. So that's my pitch. Any questions, comments?
Steve,
Yeah.
when you say social media marketing, exactly?
Two things. So one part is social media. You know, Facebook is a social interaction, social media piece, a social platform. The media and marketing is how do I interact with those people that are in social communities to sell product? And that happens through an entertainment process of media. YouTube's a social piece of it, but how do I, you know, like Hershey did a thing where they said, if you produce something with the Hershey logo on it, 30 seconds goes viral, we'll give you $10,000. And so what they did is they had everybody that was involved, anybody who was anybody could put one up there, but it was all about doing the brand in a certain way. So for 10 grand, they got a ton of connectivity, even though the connectivity might have been for 150 people in that person's own immediate world. I took my video camera out, I did something with Hershey, I put it on my Facebook, and my 150 people looked at it as Hershey. You didn't win 10 grand, but I just got 150 people looking at my brand. And so you see this low cost to maximum return on investment thing. That's a medium. But on the marketing side is then how do I create environments in the social world that allow me to exchange transactions. Those transactions ultimately become a commerce. One of the best ways to look at that is social gaming. So if you look at something like Farmville, and you look at other entities like that, because Zynga's doing a huge amount of business in this area, and think about the beauty of this. In social, I can create collateral. I can create transaction value by giving you a token that you paid $1 for, or you paid a dime for. So you pay me money, and I give these virtual. I don't have a minting press, but I do if it's digital. Here's all your tokens. What can I do with those tokens? I can go buy you a virtual bottle of soda pop and send it to you in a nice little email. And you open up the email, it costs me 10 tokens, and it's, hey, have a great day, have a soda with me, and you pop the soda, and that's all you see. It costs me nothing as a developer, as a producer of that framework. It cost you whatever tokens you spent. But the gratification you got out of that was sending somebody a thoughtfulness piece. But it's virtual. I mean, it's virtual. In the social environment, you can make money out of nothing. And it's all about the idea. And what we do in mobile, why we love what we're doing, is because we're an enablement process. If you do something on a PC, I just enable those transactions to happen, but I enable them to happen while you're walking around, because the key attribute of mobile is that it's mobile. It's portable. So in a sense, we make whatever you're doing on the internet, put in your pocket. And we do it in a way that it becomes the same quality user experience you would anticipate for the form factor. The graphics are right, the functionality is right. And the same thing happens in social. So you start looking at these opportunities and going, I'm working in a virtual digital environment. My biggest cost elements really are the development of the software and the environment, whatever that takes for, if you're a gamer or whatever, all that process, and my hardware infrastructure. That's it. So I got bandwidth, hardware, software. That's it. I don't have to, the only time I have to replicate something is for R&D, from learning, but I have to replicate my software architecture. And that's a fixed cost. So ultimately, if you can cookie cutter in software, you can cookie cutter your product in such a way that if you graph it out, your cost per customer acquisition goes down so fast. Once you have, the startup costs are like this, but after very shortly it goes down, as opposed to stuff that we do in retail, grocery stores or whatever, where you have to keep a steady state inventory, it's turned, it's got longevity, it's got a whole bunch of distinctions, I gotta get rid of stuff. I'm not holding any inventory. It's a bunch of bits on a server. So those two areas we see to be very, very exciting places. And I'll tell you, if you just like playing games and you wanna be a gamer and you don't have any, you can take, and SCAD has great, classes in this, so do some of the colleges here in Georgia that are very specific to this, but go get yourself working for EA Sports as a game site developer. There's 20 different jobs you do. Learn that for a year and go, I think I can do my own game. It doesn't take you very long to get a basic game out there. And social media or social gaming is one of the fastest growing elements of that. So, and if you want to see, if you like gaming, there's a daily e-zine out there called Inside Social Gaming. After you read that for about a month, you'll be going, my God, there's so much happening in this environment, and how you get involved with it. So, not to kind of close off, but mobile, I think, is a huge trajectory in the future computer sciences, as well as anything doing with the social environment, both media and marketing. Any questions? Yeah, we didn't bore you too bad. I saw the guys in the back going, yeah, I'm going to start right now. I will say this: you can go if you get just a halfway decent Mac, and you get the digital toolkit, the digital kit, the SDK on, you can start producing iPhone stuff today, and it's pretty much drop in a do. You can just start making stuff up. You'll be amazed. You won't really make any money out, but you'll be amazed at how much you start learning and growing within that framework to go, hey, I could do more, I could do more. All right, another other questions? Well, I'm glad you spent this much time with me, and I hope that,
One
you all
last
go out and be
question.
mobile. What's that?
How do you find good people, and how do you, what do you do to keep them?
I'll tell you,
With your company.
this is real easy. How do I find good people? Network. All right, and I'll tell you the best way. We do a program with local colleges for interns, and we'll burn through. And I'll tell you what, every intern we've gotten, within 90% has either decided to stay or has gotten a job because they into weather or weather.com, or gotten into a Walmart, or they'll move around. You get the talent's here. You just have to bring them in and have a strategy around bringing people into it. And I'll tell you, for what we're doing, it ain't easy. You don't find anybody that comes in and says, I have 10 years of mobile experience. They got 10 years of carrier experience on the hardware side. There's nobody that has 10 years of mobile programming experience really out there. I mean, we started in 2004, and within that framework, you're like, and WAP was in 1997, so you might find somebody that's been doing WAP development for 10 or 11 years, but that's such like luau, it's just an archaic language that it doesn't even, your best people are coming out now. They're graduate students in computer science. They're ones that have a real bent for coding and development. That's how you find the right R&D, the right R&D framework. You keep them, in our worldview, by stock options. You pay them and you give them an opportunity to say, stay with us, and we're on a trajectory to be bought or to IPO over a period. We have a very set plan on this. Take the chance. At the least, what you'll learn is a whole lot of ways of how a startup works, which can benefit you further down the road. On the other hand, when it comes to project management, if you notice, so there's project management people, senior people that are managing projects. Those are ones you can definitely find, and in Atlanta, there's plentiful ones around this area. Those people that have 8 to 12 years of experience, multi-language coding expertise, and a variety of platforms and environments they've worked in, but what they're really good at is taking 50 people that are working on a project, knowing how to stage those sprints properly and execute the plan effectively. So you have two things that we look at. One is the youthfulness for the coding and the efforts that are involved there, and then the project management pieces. Those are the two significant, and they're definitely here. But on the side of where do we find good people, you network. And I'll tell you this, if you pick the right business, because in mobile, and we network pretty well as well. I mean, things like LinkedIn or seminars, I'm going to Europe next week. There's eTail Europe, and there's other things we're involved with, so you get connectivity there. People start coming to you. So we've been doing this enough time, we're fairly well known in the mobile world. People start calling you up and go, hey, I'm interested. Yeah.
What is your highest level of transactions that you have enabled in
terms of on a site?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll easily do 400 million in a month.
In a month.
Without a problem. And we're set up, we could do as many as, right now our current framework, we've done as many as bursting at about 30,000 in a second on page views.
Wow.
So you gotta have some exposure there. But the thing about mobile is that's cool is that it's smaller things that are being transmitted. And so if you're running a 6 kb or a 8 kb page view, it's pretty stout. The other cool part is, as opposed to an app, the delivery of data through the pipe on a mobile 3G or 4G is much better than what you see on what even an iPhone 4 can do for its actual internal processes, is for drawing up from an application. So we can actually deliver larger chunks more effectively through the web of data pieces. So, and then for us to go up from there, we have bursting rates that go at 10 times that, just because of the server environments and the way we've set the load balancing, et cetera. So X number of transactions, you get a very consistent, but if something goes viral, we can handle it fairly easily. Just one of the things you have to learn. That's the hardware side of it that you have to learn, not the software. Any other questions? Well, if you want to email me, it's steve@SiteMinis.com, and or Lisa or any number of the people over here, Sam, Martha, can let you know where we're at. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.